Odds are you are using the auction method for buying ads on Facebook. But there's another method that could be better for your campaign goals, and that is called reach and frequency. This method could be helpful for advertisers who may have little brand awareness or they want to keep their CPMs under control. I will be the first to admit that this method is not for everyone. I have seen it work really well in some accounts and not so well in others. So let's dive into reach and frequency to see if it's better for your campaign goals. Before I go into the actual setup of a reach and frequency campaign, I want to discuss 3 benefits of why you may want to use reach and frequency. The first benefit is having control of the frequency. Before you launch the campaign, you will get information on the expected frequency you will get for each user in the campaign. Before the campaign goes live, you could adjust those settings if you want to have the frequency potentially be higher or lower. So you will know that exact number before your campaign ever goes live. Another benefit is that you will know your exact CPM. These are campaigns that we reserve and book in advance, and they run for a certain period of time. So no matter how long or short you have this campaign running, you will know your exact CPM, that is cost per 1,000 impressions, and that number will also be booked. Another example of clear expectations before the campaign even launches. And another benefit, I think I already mentioned it, is that you can reserve your campaigns in advance. And this is important because the CPM that we just talked about will be locked in. That number can fluctuate depending on how many other advertisers might be advertising during that time or using reach and frequency themselves and also booking in advance. So by reserving your campaigns in advance, you are locking in with that exact CPM and that exact cost that you want to spend for that campaign. It's making a lot of the metrics predictable so you know what you're getting before the campaign even launches. And we're going to see how a lot of this plays into the mix when we go set up our campaigns. So let's jump into Facebook Ads Manager and start creating a reach and frequency campaign. We are in a specific Facebook ads account, and the process of creating a reach and frequency campaign starts like any other Facebook campaign you're going to create. We need to go to the green create button, and that'll bring up the new campaign pop-up. What we're seeing right now under buying type is auction. And I have to say right now, reach and frequency campaigns are not available in every account. I don't know exactly how they're picking and choosing which accounts, but from my experience and the clients that I've managed, they're only in accounts that have been running ads for a little bit. I'm not seeing them in any new clients, and I'm also not seeing them in any accounts that were running ads for a while and then paused for a very long time. So to see if you are eligible to use this buying type, just click on the auction option and you will be able to switch to reach and frequency. Now, before I do that, I want to have you look at the campaign objectives. Because for an auction buying type, we get all of the campaign objectives. But if I switch to reach and frequency, we see a few options disappear. Let me go back. The awareness column, which includes brand awareness and reach, those 2 options will still be there. For consideration, we're going to lose the lead gen option and we're going to lose messages. And for conversion, we're going to lose catalog sales and store traffic. Watch again. So already there are a few campaign goal options that you're not going to be able to use. I know a lot of people who love using lead gen forms. I'm sure there's a good amount of you out there who are looking to drive more store traffic. But for this buying type, those campaign objectives are not possible. What we're seeing on the screen right now is what we get. And I think before choosing your campaign objective or launching a reach and frequency campaign, it's really important to understand the main benefit of this campaign type. And I know I mentioned it in the intro of this video, but I'm going to stress it over and over again. These campaigns will prioritize brand awareness over your specific goal. Yes, there are options for conversions. There are options for app installs. If you just want to drive traffic, those are clearly campaign objectives, but it's not going to optimize towards those actions like you think you would for the auction buying type. For example, if your campaign is looking to prioritize to get more purchases, that is the one conversion action that you're really trying to optimize for a specific campaign, that's when auction buying type is going to be the best option for you because the campaign will optimize towards that important conversion action. That's not going to happen for a reach and frequency campaign. So again, brand awareness first, campaign objective goals second. Just so we can continue, I'm going to select one option and then we can continue. Everything there looks good, pretty much exactly what we saw, so we can go next. I haven't touched anything in this particular new ad set. So if we're looking to the right-hand side of the screen, we're getting the current estimates of what I could expect to pay. Looking at my budget, we're seeing my expected reach, my expected CPM, my expected frequency. So as we're making adjustments, we will see those numbers update. Within a week, Facebook wanted me to spend $140,000. Not going to do that. So I went and updated the budget to just $5,000, and we can see how those numbers and the potential predictions have changed. We do see the warning from Facebook saying they may change, but for the most part, on the few times I've tested reach and frequency, I haven't seen any huge volatile changes. It's pretty much stayed exactly what they've promised. And for the most part, I'm still getting good information of what I can expect from this specific budget on this specific date range. Now, for going up to the schedule portion, we're seeing that's a pretty short date range, but I could extend this out if I want to. And I purposely mess this up just to show you. Your reach and frequency campaign can only be up to 90 days long. So if you're planning on using this as some sort of ongoing evergreen strategy, it really wouldn't work because you'll have to constantly reset those campaigns. But for me, that's not a bad thing. It gives you an opportunity, looking at almost once a quarter, to update your creative, adjust your strategy if you do find out that reach and frequency is for you. And as I adjusted my schedule, again, the predictions on the right-hand side update. We're going to see that constantly happening as I'm changing my target audience. With reach and frequency ad scheduling, we can adjust the hours of the day that a user could see the ad, but we cannot adjust this time by the day of the week. We're only looking at hour adjustments here. Looking to edit the audience. Originally, you were only allowed to target one country at a time. It's a newer feature where you can target multiple countries within the same ad set, but the target audience still needs to be at least 200,000 people. Just to keep things simple, I'm going to leave it as the United States. You can still adjust your audience by certain specific ages. We see gender, language. I know some of these targeting options are not applicable if you are in one of the special categories where you're not allowed to target people by certain ages or genders, but I'm sure for many of you that doesn't apply. We do see specific details. I just typed in a few interests right there, but the same interests and detailed targeting that you can look up is going to be the same as if you were running an auction type campaign. Again, we're just trying to narrow our audience. After you have your detailed targeting set, we do see the typical connections and custom audiences. With reach and frequency, you can't exclude certain audiences, like any remarketing option that you have, any lookalike audience that you have, people who like your page, that sort of thing. Once we save the audience, my reach is updated, my CPM has updated, and we're seeing it get a little bit more expensive as I'm honing in on a more specific audience, which makes perfect sense, but I'm still happy with those numbers. Now, depending on what campaign objective you chose for reach and frequency, most of the typical ad formats are available. Since 360 photos and videos are only for very specific Facebook feeds, the 360 ad format options are not available for reach and frequency campaigns. As a heads up, no matter what type of photos or videos you may upload for your creative, the ads will not show up on in-stream videos or any suggested videos because those placements are only for video ad creative only. And for that, when we scroll down to placements, that's why the manual placements are selected. We're not going to be able to do automatic placements just because we can't be on every single placement that Facebook offers. If you're really concerned about brand safety, the standard filter is automatically in place for this campaign type. You can update these settings, but it could potentially affect your reach and, of course, the costs. And for the rest of the setup, if I'm happy with the reach and CPM, I can reserve and upload this campaign into Facebook. After you have reserved and booked your reach and frequency campaign, and you've gone in and attached ads to that specific ad set, you can then start using one of the good features of a reach and frequency campaign, and we see it right here. It's Facebook's ad scheduling. Ad scheduling allows you to arrange up to 50 ads in a specific order to be shown to that audience you're targeting within the ad set. So for example, a user has to see ad A before they're ever shown ad B. And they have to see ad B before they're ever shown ad C, and so on and so on. So after your campaign is booked, go back and edit the ad set. Scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, and you'll get to this delivery section, which we see on the screen right now. Within the sequencing section, you can add each advertisement that you want to include within the sequence in order. If you want to use the same ad more than once, you can easily duplicate it within the sequence and rearrange it. It's really simple just to click on any ad and move it around within the sequence. Now with this campaign type, we can adjust the frequency. So Facebook is only going to allow you to add as many ads that fit within the frequency that you have selected, as well as the entire campaign date range. So yes, you can go up to 50 ads per ad set sequence, but if you're only going to run that ad set for 2 weeks, there's no way that you can show all 50 ads. So that's going to get rejected. I couldn't physically show you how to do an ad sequencing because I don't have any active reach and frequency campaigns out there, and I didn't want to book my demo because the only way you can use the ad scheduling feature is if your campaign is booked, reserved, and you have ad creative attached to that specific ad set. That closes out, and let's assume that your reach and frequency campaign is running. Odds are you're going to see the main metrics that we saw when setting up the campaign are in line with what they predicted, but maybe you're still not happy with performance and you want to look at pausing this type of campaign or ad set. You may not be able to actually pause the campaign. since it is a reserved campaign, we've seen a lot of times it's been locked in there. So the campaign most likely will not be able to be turned off. Your best bet would be going into the ad set level, like we're seeing right here, to turn off the campaign. If you eventually want to bring it back within the time frame that you have set that campaign was supposed to run, Facebook will have to run a new reach and frequency prediction, and you'll have to accept the new prediction, aka you're not going to get the same potential reach, frequency, or CPM numbers of when you first created that campaign. So those numbers could change if you're pausing for a long period of time. If the new prediction is accepted and you're launching the campaigns, it will still run up to that end date that you originally set up. Similar to if you even need to make any edits to your ad set. If all you're doing is changing ad creative, then that prediction won't change. But if you're changing your budget, the ad schedule, potentially your targeting options, then it's going to have to go through another prediction reset that you will have to accept. And for whatever reason, if you can't even pause your ad set, it may be because your campaign is under delivering. If your ad set for whatever reason is not meeting the marks that was predicted before you launch the campaign, you will have to completely delete that ad set or campaign. Again, you cannot pause an ad set that's under delivering from what Facebook predicted. And like anything that you delete within the platform, you will have to go back and recreate something from scratch if you want to bring it back. If you do cancel early for whatever reason or delete those campaigns, you are only charged for the ads that were delivered. You're not going to be charged for that entire reservation. And for the most part, that's what we can do with a reach and frequency campaign. It may not seem like there's a lot of differences, but it's how those differences work between an auction and a reach and frequency campaign that can make that decision of which buying type is right for you a lot easier. If you are more conversion focused, you really want as many purchases as possible, you want as many leads as possible, auction to me will always be the best choice. If brand awareness is the main goal, then this could be something that you may want to test. Just understand the limitations. You're not going to get every single placement that you want. You can't use every ad format that you want. And it can be a huge pain in the butt to try to pause and edit campaigns within a reach and frequency campaign. But potentially having lower CPMs, knowing exactly the type of reach that you're getting for a brand awareness campaign can be appealing. So if you're going to test it out, best of luck on the campaigns. And if you've seen any success before from a reach and frequency campaign, let everyone know what you did in the comments below.
Thanks for watching our video. If you found it useful, give us a thumbs up below.
We release a new video at least once a week, so if you want to see more from the Paid Media Pros channel, be sure to subscribe.